Hello everybody, this is Art, and you're watching Seeker Vision. This is episode number 4, called The Wimp Factor. On the last episode, I mentioned that through conversation with God, I found out a couple of the weapons he has at his disposal. I'm sure he has much more, but I thought I'd mention these ones that he talked to me about. And I was watching the History Channel, and they had a documentary on, and the documentary was about the extinction of the dinosaurs and the fact that although they claim an asteroid struck the Earth and killed off this species of animals, they said that near, on, or about this layer of dust that's supposedly from the asteroid impact, there is no layer of dinosaur bones. There would be a heavy layer of dinosaur bones if all the dinosaurs, millions of them, got killed off on the Earth. And there would also be included in that layer mammals, amphibians, reptiles, birds, fish. So they're saying that this never happened. The extinction wasn't caused by an asteroid. So as I oftentimes do, I just say, hey, Father, did you hear that? I said, these guys kind of have a point, that the dinosaurs, there were huge dinosaurs, small dinosaurs that could hide in caves, there were dinosaurs in the water, there was flying dinosaurs, and something happened that every example of this species died off, but yet it left other species still thriving on planet Earth. I said, do you have any idea why the dinosaurs are gone? So he said, they became obsolete. So I no longer supported their reproduction, which kind of shocked me. So I said I asked the obvious question. I said, can you do the same thing to the human race? And he said, selectively or collectively. Well, that's a pretty shocking thing, and to think somebody has that kind of power. But then where are the dinosaurs? Show me a dinosaur. They're all gone. So what do you want to believe? A space rock struck the Earth and killed the most successful species of animals, species that lived for 165 million years? Or do you want to believe the Creator, Father God, decided they were obsolete and he no longer supported their reproduction and now they're gone? So as far as the human race goes, well, at any time that he feels the need, he can make an end to this age. And I would suppose that would bring on a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth, but apparently he has such power. If I understood God correctly, what he's trying to tell me is it takes 3 to tango. And if God doesn't tango, then this dance is over. I hope this is a last resort message, but when I did ask him about the idea of killing everybody, he said he's not killing a single soul. And he said he's not shortening the lifespan of any individuals. He's just not allowing things to continue. But like I said, let's hope that's a last resort measure. Now, another thing he pointed out to me, he just brought this up on his own, is he said he can bring fires of hell to the earth. And as an example, he said that you probably all remember the pilot that bailed out of the F-35 over South Carolina. Well, I admit, that was a little bit unusual. It's unusual for a military pilot to not stick with the aircraft until the very last second and then bail out because the aircraft becomes a ballistic missile that can do harm to his countrymen if he's flying over the United States. So this individual felt the need to get out of the plane. He was in South Carolina. the aircraft flew on, and it flew into North Carolina and harmlessly crashed into a farm field. But it could have been worse. It could have flown to Raleigh, North Carolina, and crashed into a city. So I watch a program called Pilot Debrief, and the gentleman that runs that cast he calls himself Hoover. So I have kind of a special request. I looked through his previous work, and I didn't find anything about this crash. And just because the pilot comes down in an airplane doesn't mean it's not a crash. So I would request that Hoover, being a fellow military aviator, contact this gentleman and find out exactly why he did jump out of that aircraft. Because this message and this example, well, it may be true and it may not be. Because unfortunately, everything you hear may not be the truth, may not be from the God. And you know, you have to measure the spirit and determine what seems to be from God and what's not. And I realize that's a little bit of frustration. It's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for anybody. But now I've heard from family members that say, personally, they would lay off "God spoke to me" because it sounds really kooky. Well, I have this channel. I started this channel because God's speaking to me. And if he wasn't speaking to me, I would not have started this channel. And I'm not trying to make outrageous claims. I'm not trying to make money from this channel. I have made no attempt to monetize Seeker Vision. I don't want to work for God for money. I have nothing against people that do. God said the workman is worth his wages. So if people make money working for God, well, that's fine. It's fine with God, it's fine with me. But I have no intentions of doing that. So I'm not going to do anything sensational here. And I'm not going to try to get more clicks because of what I'm saying or making it sensational, because I'm passing on to you what I'm hearing. And another weapon God has is God has the weapon of love. And one time I just asked God, where are you? A simple prayer, where are you? And he came back with a very loving message to me. And I've added that to the end of this video. So I do hope you'll stick with me long enough to read what the Spirit spoke to me, because every time I read it, I just want to cry. So with that, I'm going to close this video.